Na 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 la la la. Hey guys, it's Cake here. So, when it comes to ending different types of anime series, I feel like the ending to that series is what makes the series as a whole extremely satisfying. I know a lot of people don't give a shit about them, but to me, I feel like that's like the finishing touch into making a masterpiece. And today, I decided to get 24 of series that I've seen or read from beginning to end, and I decided to put it into a tier list. And I'm going to rate them by how good their ending was. Keep in mind that I did not put any franchises that have a consecutive series. Series such as Gundam and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I did not put on there because you can literally just tier list every single type of series like Iron Blooded Orphans and Gundam Zeta, or like Part 1 and Part 2 of JoJo. So I decided to not put any of those on there. Also, I timestamped all of these in the description in case you have not seen any of these series out there. Anyways, let's get started. So to start off this tier list, we're going to start with some romance anime. So, Toradora. Toradora has been one of my childhood fucking anime series. I don't know why I got into this as a kid, or like as like a fucking young teen, and I'm like, I like flat-chested girls who like to punch me in the nuts. But going on the ending of Toradora, it revolves around like Asuka Taiga running away from home, and Ryuji like trying to find Ryuji and everyone else trying to find her, and Ryuji eventually proposes to her. And I found that to be extremely wholesome. And then when you have the ending where she's just hiding in fucking Ryuji's classroom in a fucking locker, I found that to be pretty fucking cute. I'm gonna put this in the B tier category because it's not only very cute, but it's also just very wholesome, despite her going to punch me in the nuts if I was ever Ryuji. Unlike other anime endings like Toradora, we could focus on Nisekoi, which doesn't have that great of an ending, that I'd say. You know, if I were to put Nisekoi into this tier, I'd have to put it in E tier. I mean, it's a really good series. One problem I really had about this particular ending is that they kiss and like they start dating, and then it just ends there. It's like, where's the rest of it? Is that it? That can't be it. Where's the rest of it? Are you serious? Now, with Clannad, I'm going to have to put this in the B tier category along with Toradora. To me, I found it a little bit confusing, but it made sense. And when it finally ended, in terms of the visual novel, like going back in time and all, I mean, I couldn't really like comprehend it too much. All I know is Nagisa's death. I'm gonna put this in the B tier category for now. Going into some action anime now, Darker Than Black. Darker Than Black is an amazing show, although really confusing if you can't really understand its concept. When it comes to the ending of Darker Than Black, where the Pavlichenko twins, like I think Shion Pavlichenko fucking dies, and he makes like a whole new fucking world where Hei, Yin, his twin sister, and July are stuck in. A lot of people found that to be very confusing, including myself as well. And in that notion, I'm gonna put this in C tier because even myself, I was very confused in how it really ended. I think it was meant so that like when you see Hei holding I think a dead Yin, and like this male version of Yin popping out after the FBI takeover. Like I think it was like meant so that it was open for if they were to ever make a season 3. I mean, especially with Mao and the Syndicate. But I don't know if they would ever make that. So in that event, I'm gonna have to put this in C tier for now. I know not a lot of people have seen King's Game, but when it comes to the ending, they kind of ruined the ending in a way when they did this. So, in the ending of King's Game, basically everyone dies and this one girl is left standing after she witnesses all of her friends get fucking massacred with a chainsaw. And by the end of the series, she drowns herself, trying to get rid of this whole King's Game once and for all. And it would have been a very satisfying ending, to which I would put in the A tier category. But however, at the end of the series, they see a fucking ending where everyone is a part of the King's Game, and I'm like, what? Why? You had the perfect ending, and then you have like, oh, now everyone's going to participate in the King's Game. No, just add the finishing touch. You don't need to add more to it. So in this case, I'm gonna have to put in the D tier category because they kind of ruined the ending in that sort of matter. They were supposed to like just end the King's Game once and for all, and the next thing you know, it just respawns out of nowhere like some video game. I mean, what do I expect? It's the King's Game. It is kind of like a video game. When it comes to Future Diary, all I can say is that they did the happy end very well. And I feel like it should be a law to make every romance or slice of life anime where like the two couples finally get together, in which they actually get a happy end. But going back on the ending, although they have the type of happy end, of course it is very predictable. Yuno kills herself, Yuki becomes God, and one thing I did not understand is how the fuck is Minene still alive? I mean, why is she still alive? I don't know. They do have like that happy end where they create a new world free of this whole battle royale, and eventually just Yuki's just alone. He's just a god living alone. And it's kind of dark, but still kind of a happy end. And for that, I'm going to put this in the B tier category. Now going on anime that do not have a happy end, we are going to look at Death Note. Now, the manga and the anime endings are completely and utterly different. When it comes to the anime of Death Note, personally, I like it a lot better than the manga. And for some reason, when I see the manga of Death Note and its ending, the ending is very anticlimactic in the way. In the anime, Light runs away, and then Ryuk eventually writes his name in the Death Note as Light rests on a staircase. In the manga, what he does is he orders Ryuk to write the names of the police officers near and the FBI agents down, and Ryuk just says, oh, I just wrote your name in the book. And then he starts panicking. He's like, I don't want to die, I don't want to die, I don't want why, until he eventually dies. And if we're going to focus on the manga ending, I'd put that in the C tier category because, I mean, personally, I just found that to be very anticlimactic. In terms of the anime ending, I'd put it more to the B tier, but I guess the manga is its real canon, so I'd put it into C tier for now. Akame Ga Kill, on the other hand, has a really amazing manga ending, but it does not have a good anime ending. So it's kind of interesting, because when it comes to the anime of Akame Ga Kill, they removed a whole arc from the entirety of the anime, and it's only in the manga, the Wild Hunt arc. And they changed a lot of weird stuff in the manga, like Lubok getting his balls crushed. I mean, even Leone's final form. I mean, Honest's fucking worst death in the history of deaths. And even so, they killed off Tatsume and Mine in the anime. Well, they were a couple in the manga, and they actually end up having children. I mean, hell, Tatsume becomes a fucking dragon. I mean, the manga is so much better than the anime, it's ridiculous, and it's quite clear. They removed a whole arc, and they completely changed the anime completely. And obviously, it's due to the fact that they completed the anime while the manga was still ongoing, but nonetheless, going on the manga ending of this, I'm gonna have to put this in a B tier, because I really like it. If we're going to go through the anime ending, it'd be like a D or an E. But here, it's like maybe a B. Actually, no, I take it back. I put it into a C tier because it's a really good ending where, like, it's a happy ending for anyone else who's survived. Like, Kurome is still alive, and Wave is still alive. Ron is still fucking dead. I don't know why he's still alive in the anime, but whatever the fuck. I mean, Tatsume and Mine, they have children. Agenda adopts a child. Akame travels the world. I mean, it's just a really nice ending. And then you have the anime, which just fucking sucks. Oh, by the way, Akame was watching Tatsumi and Mine fuck. You know, Akame Ga Kill, more like Akame Ga Cuck. 91 Days is in an interesting situation, as it's one of the few original anime series. It didn't come from a manga or a light novel, and it's kind of interesting when I looked at it. It has an amazing English dub, and when it comes to the ending of 91 Days, Angelo gets executed by his best friend Nero after he devises a plot to kill his entire family, which he indeed succeeds. Although, at the end of the series, while Angelo is walking and Nero finally shoots him in the back, as Nero walks and drives back, he's smiling for some reason. And this is due to the fact that Nero is finally free of all this shit. Like, he was, like, born into the Venetti family, and obviously they are a group of Italian gangsters. And by the end of the series, it really goes to show that he's finally free of this whole gangster lifestyle, and he can finally live his own life. And that's thanks to Angelo over here. Although Angelo was driven on revenge, I mean, Nero, although, like, Nero was betrayed by him, and it really hit him a lot. It really goes to show that he was finally free of this whole schlick. And even though he was like the Dawn and everything, like, you can see from that smile as he drives away from the beach that, like, he's still satisfied. Like, finally, I'm just done with this shit. And in that case, I'm gonna put this in the A tier category. It's not S tier, but it is like an A tier category for now. Actually, I take that back. I'm putting that in S tier. Fuck that. Full Metal Alchemist. Oh yes, Full Metal Alchemist. Finally, we get to banish that dwarf in the flask back to the Shadow Realm. But going on the ending of Full Metal Alchemist, I really liked the ending to it. It's a typical anime ending you'd expect from a shonen anime, although it's very satisfying in the matter. I mean, the bad guy, the dwarf in the flask, gets banished back to the Shadow Realm. Edward gets with Winry. Alphonse travels the world. And things just seem very nice in the end. And in that case, I'm going to put this in A tier. I wouldn't say it's S tier because it didn't really have that much of an impact. Nonetheless, that's going in A tier because it's a really wholesome and just satisfying ending in general. Now, unlike other fucking satisfying endings, we're gonna go with Darling in the Franxx. Because let's just say, this has like one of the shittiest fucking endings on the fucking planet. It had an amazing concept at first, and I know the fanbase got really invested. I mean, hell, I went to an anime convention once, and someone said Ichigo was best girl, and they ended up getting punched in the fucking nose. And that wasn't me, by the way. But going back on the Darling in the Franxx ending, I think it's quite clear where this goes, and that's going in the F tier. And that's due to the fact that, what the hell is this human skin piece of mech doing in space? And also, Darling in the Franxx, they just ruined its world building. Like, the characters just went straight out of character, like 02, Ichigo, Kokoro, like, they all go out of character. And even this guy, fucking Dr. Franxx, and his character development, it kind of ruined the franchise in a way. But going on the finale where Ichigo and 02 die and everyone lives happily ever after, it just didn't make sense to me. And I don't know why. And then 02 and Ichigo reincarnates? Like, what? the whole lore of Darling and the Franxx even was very confusing as well. I mean, and the ending and what led to the ending, like, just confused me even more to the point where it just didn't make any sense. In that case, that's just going straight in the F tier. The final arc of Demon Slayer, I personally was satisfied on that. I mean, they fought the Upper Moons and Muzan Kibutsuji, and most of the pillars die, and even like one of the main characters actually dies in this case. But when it comes to the ending of Demon Slayer, where they finally slay Muzan, Tanjiro actually becomes a demon. They finally fight him off, and try to convince him to like regain his humanity in a way, to which he eventually does, and they celebrate. Now, I thought they were going to continue on and finally have a happy ending between these characters, but then they span 100 years into the future, and that was when I was kind of scratching my head in a way, because I was invested in these characters. I don't care about what's going on 100 years from now. I want to know what happens next after slaying Muzan and regaining Nezuko and Tanjiro's humanity after they become demons. And even after, I know, like, they had the ending where, like, the pillars disband, and that was kind of it. But nothing really happened except, span 100 years. I don't care what happens 100 years from now. I care about these characters and the ending of these characters, not what happens 100 years from now. And I think in that case, although it's very satisfying in the final arc, I'm going to have to put this in the D tier category, because I want to know what happens now, not from 100 years in the future. No modern era today. Now then, let's start with the incest wincest, shall we? Let's go with something great like Oreimo. You know, Oreimo is a fucking mess, and I know everyone fucking hated the ending. You know, I'm a Kuroneko fan, and when it comes to the ending of Oreimo, I could clearly see why people were angry about its ending. In the end, Kyosuke abandons all the other girls for his sister, and even has like this whole fake wedding and everything. And they eventually kiss it, and then they just cut it off after that. You know, that really ticks me off. I know everyone hates the fact that he got with Kirito at the end, but what really ticks me off personally is that he just left it half done. Just go all the way, man. Just go all the way. You had this marriage thing and everything. You even kissed at the end, and then you just dropped it. Why? Why did you drop this? You had something perfect going on, and then you just ruined it. I mean, the whole thing was leading up to this point, and you just dropped it. And in that case, I'm putting this in the E tier category, because honestly, like, you should have just kept on going. Now, unlike Oreimo, which just dropped half done, Yosuga no Sora just goes all the way. However, this guy is a true savage, alright? This guy cheats on his girlfriend for his sister. And even after that, while they were watching, this girl got fucking cucked by his sister. This girlfriend got fucking cucked by his sister. And to top that off, he fucking runs away to some other foreign country with his sister in the end. He went straight through. He didn't cut it off or anything. I know he felt guilty for a little bit, but even so, this guy went all the way. And for that, I have this guy's respect. This guy, but it's not too great of an ending, like, as much as I admit it, but at least they went all the way. And then for that, I'm gonna put this in the C tier. Imagine that. You cheat on your girlfriend for your fucking sister. Like, who does that? At least they went all the way, unlike Oreimo. I don't know if a lot of people have seen this series, Onegai Twins. It's basically about these three half-Japanese people. This Mike, Karen, and Mina, I think. And basically they are bound together by this one photograph in which one of these two girls is Mike's sister, and they all are resembled from their blue eyes. And In this series in particular, with Please Twins, or Onegai Twins, one thing I found really interesting is that, like, although it's kind of a love triangle, like, everyone's happy in the end. The dude finds out that one of them is his sister, and then he can date the other one afterwards because they're not related. And it makes perfect sense as well. I mean, if you're in in this type of love triangle in which you don't know if one of these two girls are your sister, but you have feelings for both of them, here's a simple compromise. Date one of them, and then treat the other one as your sister. And bam! Problem solved. And that's what this series did. And at the end, he dates one of them, and then he treats the other one like their sister. I mean, pretty simple if you ask me. I guess with that ending, I'm putting this in kind of C tier as well. I think with any, like, really most of these, like, incest, wincest, slice of life things, it's all really C tier for me. I don't know why. The endings aren't, like, super satisfying to the point where they're masterpieces, unlike 91 Days or Full Metal, but they're still fine nonetheless. Last but not least in the incest route, we're going with Dome Kano, and I think it's quite clear where this is going. This is going in the F tier category, because this is just a throw. Like, unlike Oreimo, where they just left everything half done, they basically just went full reverse, and went from, like, halfway through the finish line to all the way to the start line. I mean, fucking really? She was, like, pregnant, they were going to get married, and then she just drops it. Either way, this is an F tier for me. I no questions asked. Okay, Neon Genesis. You know, with Neon Genesis Evangelion and the end of Evangelion, where Shinji basically commits mass genocide, you have why am I laughing at this? This is fucked. You know, the end of Neon Genesis Evangelion is fucked, and I'm fucking laughing at this. Kimochi warui, that's all I could say. Mass genocide, I mean, mass genocide is not a good thing. These two are stuck in an island, fucking Asuka and Shinji, and the final words, Kimochi warui. How disgusting. I mean, I can't agree more. Shinji is a disgusting human being. I mean, the fact that he jacked off in a hospital makes it a mess. But with this ending, yeah, all the humans are dead. They're stuck on an island. Probably have no food to eat. Basically, Shinji really fucked up, and Asuka just doesn't know what the fuck is going on. And the words "how disgusting" at the end. Like, that could mean a lot of things. That could mean Shinji just being Shinji, or how disgusting, or Kimochi warui. Like, as in, like, what the fuck is going on? In that case, I'm putting this in B tier. Inuyashiki has a really interesting concept when it comes to Shishigami and fucking Inuyashiki going at. They, like, become giant cool robots. I mean, fucking Shishigami going, "Ban! Ban! Ban! And I like to see these two battle it out to see who would win, like, as Shishigami tries to destroy the entire population of Japan, and Inuyashiki trying to stop him and trying to save, like, the sick, the seriously ill. And then you see this meteor hit just out of nowhere, and these two just settle their differences and just stop this meteor together. And I feel like that ending, although it wasn't, like, it was definitely satisfying, like, to say the least, but I felt like it just came out of nowhere. But everything was pieced together, in which it explains why they had these powers in the first place, like, as their bodies were designed to stop this meteor from hitting Earth. I mean, all you have to do is just press your eyeballs back and then you fucking blow up. I'd put that in the B tier category. It's been a while since I've seen Assassination Classroom, although in regards to this anime in particular, I was really invested in not only Koro-sensei, but just Nagisa's character as a whole. In a way, Koro-sensei has been leading Nagisa on the entire time, as he's been, like, the one who's had, like, the most potential. And by the end of the series, where Nagisa finally finishes off Koro Sensei in that epic battle, where Kaida gets shanked and that evil scientist and his apprentice show up and try to kill him, and they finally beat him. I feel like that was the end, because it was like everything was all done, everything was well and spent. Koro Sensei was finally like able to die in peace in that moment. And then we see in the epilogue, finally, like these middle school students like graduating, going through high school, and like just living as normal people in society. I felt like that was just really nice as a whole. And I know it's like another shonen ending, but I'm putting this in the A tier category. Now then, we're gonna talk about the greatest anime ending of all time, Code Geass. Code Geass debatably has one of the best anime endings of all time. You know the quote, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain? Lelouch does fucking both. He dies a hero and dies a villain. The Zero Requiem is really selfless when you sacrifice yourself and turn yourself into a hate symbol, all to achieve world peace. I mean, Lelouch pulls off dying a hero, living long enough to see himself become the villain, and becoming a hate symbol. Like, it's just unreal on how the ending is. And when you like build everything all together, it's just an absolute masterpiece when it comes to this ending. Now, going on the movie, on the other hand, I swear to God, if the movie was fucking canon, this would have been an F tier, because the movie is absolute shit. But good thing it isn't canon, and I don't want anything to do with the movie, because I want to just keep this Code Geass ending, just leaving it as it is. This is why I refuse to acknowledge the movie, by the way, because Code Geass is an S tier anime ending. Without this anime ending and with this continuation, the whole Zero Requiem and everything that Lelouch does, it just serves no purpose. I know not a lot of people know too much about the Haganai ending, but a lot of people who do know about it seem to hate it for some reason. And a lot of people are complaining, oh, why did Kodako not get with fucking Senna, the blonde girl? It was never meant to be like a romantic slice of life. It was just a group of people trying to make friends. And although, like, they do have, like, events where Kodaka dates Yukimura, shit gets down between Yukimura and Rika, at the end of the day, the whole premise, it was a success. Like, the neighbors club disbands, Yozura has Senna with her as, like, a friend, Maria has Kobato. I mean, that's the whole point of Haganai, was to make friends. It wasn't anything to do with romance. If I were to be, like, a part of that fan base, oh, why didn't he get with Senna or whatever, or why didn't this happen? This ending sucked. I mean, a lot of people would say it would be like F tier, but really it's more kind of like D or C tier. I'd say more D tier, because it's meant to follow the premise, but it wasn't really that satisfying of an ending for a series. Speaking of unsatisfactory endings to anime, we're gonna focus on Promised Neverland. You know, I've been very invested in the Promised Neverland series for quite a while now, and let me just say, when I saw the ending to this series, I was very disappointed. When you go through the arcs of Promised Neverland, it goes through Escape Human McDonald's Farm Simulator, to Child Hunting Simulator, to SEAL Team 6 Shoot Up Children Simulator, to Commit Mass Genocide Simulator. I'm talking about Norman, by the way. That guy's a fucking psychopath. But when we go to the ending of that, it feels much like Nisekoi. In the ending, they finally make it to the human world. They reforge the promise, and basically, Emma has no memories whatsoever about any of her friends or anything that goes on. She's just stuck in the woods in Canada. They finally find her, and they're convincing her to come with us. And all she says is, okay, and the series ends. That's it. Like, I expected something to be much, much worse. I mean, we hear from the human world that, like, there's, like, a post-war going on. There's, like, mass tensions occurring. And, like, basically, shit's just fucked in the human world. I mean, This is what happens in 2045. Another World War III, half of humanity's dead. I mean, shit's fucked, and it's like, you can't really trust anyone. And in this case, she just says, okay, series ends. There, that's it. I expected something more darker. And I was just very disappointed. It just felt like Nisekoi, where it's like they start dating at the end, and then that's the end of the series. No more drama. And with Promised Neverland getting worse and worse and worse. I mean, fucking Norman was going to commit mass genocide. Literally mass fucking genocide. I thought it was going to go full on Children in the Corn and shit. He was torturing a demon in the basement. Like, what the fuck? But, I mean, hey, Nisekoi ending? Okay, we'll stick to that. I mean, that's gonna be an E tier for now, because I was just disappointed. I expected something darker. Come on. I'd say with Ouran High School Host Club, I'd say it's a pretty happy ending. I didn't really care too much about it, and in that case, I'd put it in, like, D tier for now. Like, Haori finally studies abroad in America, and then you see just Tamaki just there. Now then, last but not least, the shittiest anime of all time. Na 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 na. You know, okay, say what you will about School Days. Like, School Days is a very shitty anime. Like, even the VNs aren't too great, but one thing that was good was the ending. Like, the ending was satisfying because I think we can all agree that we fucking hate Makoto. Anything you don't want in a fucking high school boy, this Makoto is that. And the fact that he gets shanked at the end, and then Sekai gets fucking decapitated, and just Kota Noha's being a psychotic bitch. Like, it just makes sense from there on out. So, I'd say with School Days, I'd put in A tier, because you know what? Say what you will about the fucking anime, like, the ending is completely and utterly satisfactory. The anime's shit! The ending is nice! And that's basically my tier list. Yes, it's a fucking shitty tier list, but hey, this is all I remember. I didn't script this video or anything. This is just knowledge coming from my head. My tastes in anime endings are shit sometimes. My tastes in anime are shit. My tastes in general are shit. I'm taste deaf. Please help me.